Hello and welcome to No Longer a People Pleaser. My name is Tina Rose and I have been summoned to change the trajectory of your life. I am here to share the story of how I healed and what I had to heal. And there are many, many people out there in the world that have a similar story. For me, I always chose to see everything as a lesson. And now I'm beyond choosing, it's just automatic. I believe it. I've seen it way too many times how the synchronicities, signs, and experiences that are dropped into our daily lives are there to help guide us. And our angels, our spirit guides want us to want it, especially the ascended masters. I say especially, but they all do. But the ascended masters understand through their experience of having walked this earth. They know how difficult it is to be a human. They know how it feels. If we look at our trauma and seek to understand it, we begin to see the patterns where we need to heal. Your pain can bring you, looking at your pain and seeking to understand it can bring you into a new energy by transmuting that pain and turning it into your power. Let it be your teacher. I had to unlearn a lot. I had to decondition and recondition my mind, get rid of the old programming, and just learn. I had to learn a whole new way. You know what just dropped into my mind in this moment was the stories that you may hear or the movies you may watch about people. There was a movie with Harrison Ford, and in the movie he was this prominent, arrogant, successful businessman, successful financially. And something happened to him. I don't know, something tragic happened to him physically, and he had amnesia. When he woke up from his coma, he had amnesia and he didn't remember who he was. And something about he had to relearn everything. He had to relearn how to walk, how to speak, and who he was. It was like he was in his innocence again through the amnesia. And he was a kind and loving person. And he had to relearn everything. And I guess that dropped into my mind because that's how I felt. I felt that everything, I'll say a majority of everything I believed about myself, about the world, was not true. And I had to relearn everything. And I was always seeking for a deeper meaning in everything. I worked so many different jobs, searching for meaningfulness in what I did on a daily basis. And I never found it in a corporate job, ever. And we have to change our mindset, and it takes consistent daily commitment. And I recently talked about how I had to re-engage with my deep desire to change my diet, to change what I ate. And I was, I'll say, falling off the wagon, and I was beginning, to really crave my old way of eating, which was cheese biscuits and cornbread. I'll just stay there, just all that kind of stuff. For me, it was not resonating. And my desire to change my diet was a huge part of raising my vibration. What I chose to eat could either lower my vibration or raise it, even with all the high vibrational thoughts that I would have, knowing the truth about who I was. My only reality is energy. There, the balancing and harmony of divine feminine and divine masculine come into play. You know, I could be all receptive to all the grace and the truth of God flowing through me. But if I didn't take the right action to keep my vibration high, then there was no harmony there. It was out of balance. And the action is divine masculine. So you want to balance that out. And just to throw this in there, what I learned was that if you have more divine feminine, if you're out of balance, divine feminine and divine masculine are out of balance, and say you have more divine feminine, you have more of that receptivity to the grace flowing in than you do your divine masculine, you don't want to decrease what you have more of, what you're in more of, that essence. You want to increase the one that isn't as high. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. And our higher thoughts are what put us in our body and how you take care of your body. So the things you do in the physical are important. The choices that you make, the things that you have that dissonance about, you get that little nudge. I shouldn't be eating this. I shouldn't be talking about this in this conversation with this person. But, we have that dissonance. We do it anyway. And I'm not judging because I've been there many times, been there, done that. But these are times that we need to step up and get more serious about it. Those things that we do in the physical, the actions that we actually take. And so I set my intention to let go and transmute everything that holds me captive, that held me captive, that holds me captive. And in the process, my story now, where I am currently right now, is I have freed myself from so much of the toxic thinking, toxic patterns and environments that were a part of my daily life. I freed myself. Freedom. Oh, freedom. Doing so much shadow work. It became like how they say in a video game, you level up. I enjoyed the leveling up. Every time I saw that I had healed from some shadow work, it's like I just wanted some more. And I became relentless in choosing my healing, choosing to be free of those shackles, things that held me back, things that weighed me down, things that made me feel uncertain. And I'm finally standing on neutral ground, not passive, no longer passive, but I am trusting in the letting go. And I have confidence to know that everything is a lesson. Everything is happening for me. We want to learn how to not leak our energy. Let go of what does not serve us. Build your emotional sovereignty. Your freedom is already here. You just have to chip away at the walls that we put up around ourselves that limit us. Change our mindset. And it takes consistency and daily commitment. So today's And I am being guided to do an energy transmission and energy healing today. Even though I was feeling a little hesitant about it, I'm not sure why. But ever since I had that water leak about a week ago, and it was so tricky trying to get it repaired, I finally did. And then some other things have been happening in my, regular life. And I don't know, I've just fallen out of my daily of coming up here on YouTube and doing a daily recording. And I did a daily recording for 50 straight days. So I'm happy about that. I'm not going to beat myself up. I want to stay neutral about it and know that there is something for me to see here, and nothing has gone wrong. That's what I tell myself. Today's energy healing is going to be amplified by this raw selenite. And I chose it because I was just feeling like I needed that white light for purification. I want to keep my heart open and pure. And also the purification for raising our vibration, removing energetic blockages in the body, and cleansing and purifying our energy. So this is what this selenite is going to be helping us with today. I think I want to hold it in my hand, maybe, as I do the energy transmission. So get into your comfortable position and say, I am open to receive. And the energy healing begins now. Take a few rounds of deep breathing, settling in as I invite our friends in high places to come in and assist with this healing, these healing energies. Lots and lots of energy coming through. To purify and cleanse our energy, to help us raise our vibration to a point where we are more likely to choose our healing in all situations and times. We still have our free will. It is our choice. But these energies are here to help elevate your thinking, your choices. Our guides are always here to help us, as I always say. And affirmations, if you choose to repeat after me, are: I choose to let go in confidence, knowing I am taken care of. I choose to allow these energies today to help me make the choices that are right for me. I return to my healing path again and again and again with compassion. Discipline is how I protect what matters to me. I do small things in everyday life that make big change possible. Consistency is an act of self-respect, self-reliance, self-love. I release what numbs me and choose what nourishes me. I no longer choose to abandon myself for temporary comforts. Each healthy choice brings me back to my true nature more and more. And Jesus is saying to ask yourself, what pleasure am I seeking that I am replacing with a temporary pleasure of this material thing? And if you choose to, before we sign off, you can join me in this vocal tone that I am suddenly guided to lead. The same vocal tone that this raw selenite was infused with to amplify its healing frequencies. And that vocal tone sounds like the letter E, the long E. On your next inhale, we will begin at the top of that exhale. Inhale. I'm getting emotional after that vocal tone. The guides brought it up in my mind to do right at the end. And I was resisting it. And then I remembered that my guides know best. And they love us very much. So I shared it with you. Blessed be, my friends. Keep up the boundaries. Until next time.